almost $1 from last month. We've been working really hard to bring the price down. 4 months ago, I gave an order to release 1 million barrels of oil per day, for our nation, from our nation's strategic petroleum reserve. And I led the world to coordinate the largest release of oil reserves in history, including from other countries. In total, more than 240 million barrels to boost global supply. During that time, I've also been working to increase U.S. production. Today, we're producing 12 million barrels per day, and we're on track to hit near record highs. I've been working to make sure that when the price of oil comes down, the price at the pump comes down as well, and comes down in real time. The good news is that's happening, but it's not happening fast enough. We've made progress, but prices are still too high. And so here's what I'm going to do, talk about today with all of you. We need to work on this. First, we're going to look at ways to increase oil production from the existing wells and permits that exist today. The industry has more approved permits for production on federal lands than they can possibly use. That's a fact. Let me say it again. They have more than they can use. So my message to these companies is use the permits or lose them. Don't say we can't, you don't have access. Second, I'm telling the industry, you're making record profits due to Putin's war in Ukraine. Use those profits to increase production and refining. Don't use those profits to buy back your stocks and dividends. Look, thirdly, we'll talk about a global price cap on Russian oil that I got our partners to agree to last month at the G7. That will keep supply up and Putin's revenues down. In the days and weeks ahead, I'm going to keep doing what I can to bring down the price of gas at the pump. But the real answer is to get to a clean energy economy as soon as possible. Turn this into something positive. That means cleaner renewable energy, more affordable electric vehicles, and clean energy manufactured here in the United States. That's how we'll protect the climate and create jobs. I have more to say about this in our discussions, and more in the coming days. But look, I want to stop here and turn it over to you, Brian, and let's get this briefing started. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Mr. President. So we're hoping today to cover three broad areas. The first is market developments, at both where we are and where we're headed, and I'll turn a moment to Chair Rouse on that front. The second is developments in the industry and the work that your team has been doing at your direction to engage with the industry on refining, on hurricane preparedness, and other issues that Secretary Granholm will update and brief you on. And the third, as you mentioned, is on international developments, where on the back of your securing an agreement to explore the price cap coming out of the G7, Secretary Yellen is back from a multi-country trip across Asia, and she and Amos will give you an update on international developments as well. So with your permission, sir, I'll turn it over to Chair Rouse to talk about market developments.
Thank you. Sure. Cease. I'm actually here.
Terrific. So, Mr. President, as you mentioned at the top, Americans are getting some very much badly needed breathing room at the pump. The national average retail gas price today fell to $4.41. That's about 60 cents lower than its mid-June peak. While this is a national average, it is affected by the traditionally higher prices in Western states. What you see when you look under these data is that in more than 30,000 stations, they're now selling gas for less than $4 a gallon. In fact, the most common gas station price in America today is $3.99 a gallon. This kind of decline at this time of year is quite unique. This is the 38th day in a row of declining retail gas prices. In fact, the rate of decline is